Okay, real quick, people are always confounded by this exercise, so I'm going to give you some super clear hints right here. You're trying to extrude to fill the wire cage with gold. This time you'll have to select two vertices in order to extrude edge by edge. So this is the wire cage, this kind of question mark shape, and here's the gold mesh object that you're trying to fill into that shape. There's a very quick way to do this and a very slow way to do this, and here is the slow way that I've seen far too many people do. Select this vertex, extrude along the edge, select this other vertex, extrude along the edge, then start filling it in together, and then good, I'm a little bit further along, and extrude this vertex, and extrude this vertex, and connect, and fill. This works, but it's very, very slow, so I'm going to recommend that you try this approach instead. Notice that every segment here has two kinks in the pathway, right? And those two kinks are the two vertices, right? So if I select both vertices at the same time and extrude, position nearby, and rotate, notice how they happen to line up just perfectly, and then extrude and rotate, position again. This is 10 times faster than the vertex by vertex approach, and I highly recommend it. And as you model with more and more sophistication, then start looking ahead, right? If the wire cage is your goal, look ahead at your goal and see if there are efficient ways to model towards that goal versus inefficient ways. It's really hard to do without much experience, so really it's just a habit to start getting into as you gather that experience. Great. Okay, so here's another one. This one should be a piece of cake now, right? It's just the same exercise, but with 4 pathways out, right? 1, 2, extrude, position, rotate, position, extrude, position, rotate, position, right? Just a way of thinking about extruding out into space. If you want to extrude a line out into space, you can. And it's relatively quick. Right? Okay, I'm not going to complete that one because the other two are identical. Let's go on. This one's different. Orbit around this one. Extrude to fill the cage with gold. All right, so hopefully you can start seeing how if you try to complete this puzzle vertex by vertex, right, you're going to be at it for quite a long time, and you're going to be really frustrated with the tool, and it's going to feel like an inefficient waste of time, and it is if you do it this way. So look at the puzzle from all angles just to get a good volumetric sense of what that shape is. But then try out some of your constrained views. So here's front view, here's side view, and here's top view. From front view, look at how this three-dimensional shape looks like it did in the earlier puzzles. It just looks like a line being, extruded out. It just happens to be the top of this cube. Well, watch what happens if I select all 4 vertices, come into front view, and extrude up, place nearby, and rotate into position. Notice how I've taken all 4 of those and put them where they need to be. It's like I'm building an air duct, those rectangular airway pathways that you see in industrial facilities, right? Back in front view, extrude, position nearby, rotate, and I've got all 4 of them right where I need them to be all at once, right? Extrude, position, oops, I lost my selection, so reselect, come back into front view, rotate, right? And I'm done. And having seen that, hopefully this one should look very easy, and this one is a little different. So I'm only going to stop at the ones where the technique changes. Orbit around on this one. Extrude to fill the cage with gold. You'll have to extrude and then scale down to fit the cage. So that's my hint. First extrude and then scale down. So here's the shape. Again, we're not going to do this vertex by vertex. We're going to look for the most efficient way. When I look at this wire cage, I kind of see a pyramid that's been chopped off at the top sitting on it, right? And so I have this face with 4 edges, and that face is going to come out and then become smaller to become those 4 faces, right? So I've orbited around, I've gotten a good volumetric sense of what that shape is, and now I'm going to find a good constrained view. So user view is usually not the best view for these exercises. Front view looks like it's a good candidate. Right view, not so good just because everything's coming at me and I can't see it very well. Top view is good for all 4 of them, so I'm actually going to stay in top view, right? I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices selected. Now I'm going to extrude out and scale down. And look at that, in 2 moves, right? I've made the extrusion, back to top view, extrude out, scale down. Orbit around so that I can see all 4 vertices so that I can select them, and then extrude out and scale down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Extrude out and scale down, right? Piece of cake. Okay, so on to the next. Use your extrusion skills to make an open box like the blue box here, right? So here's the open blue box. Here's the yellow box, and I want to make the yellow box like the blue box. This is cutting a hole or a depression into objects, and this can be a little tricky the first time you try it, right? But look closely. If you think of the yellow box as the outer perimeter of the blue box, look at how that outer top face of the blue box has come in to become another 4-sided shape, and how that 4-sided shape has been punched down to become the depression in the box. So in edit mode, if I take these top 4 vertices, extrude, and right click to leave them right where they were, they're still there, they're on top of the other 4 vertices, and I can now scale them inward. Do you see how I'm creating this surface right here, scaling inward to define the rim of the box? And then I'm going to extrude one more time and punch down to create the inside of the box. All right, cutting holes, cutting depressions into things, right? So this is similar, except it's a lot of depressions. And you might think, well, this is going to be a boatload of work, except that I've already subdivided this cube for you. So look closely. If I want to take even the most complicated surface, like the one with 6 depressions in it, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So I selected, oops, they actually go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I want to make those 3 depressions. I've selected the vertices for each, trying to be super efficient. But look what I accidentally did. I accidentally selected the face in between each of the 3 depressed areas. And if I punch this down, see how I get a big channel rather than the 6 depressions? This is one of the great times when you might want to change, if you're in edit mode, change from vertex select to face select. With face select, then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. Super easy, and I don't accidentally select the faces in between, and I can punch all 6 of these down into space, right? And the rest of the die depressions become similar to that. Okay, good. And then here, see what sort of shapes you can make on your own. Okay, good luck.